These are some starting exercises to do for when you've got tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis. So that's having pain in kind of this area, these muscles here. It's really bad when, say, you're twisting, turning, things like that, or maybe grabbing stuff can be a bit sore as well. There's a number of different exercises out there, but here are some good ones to start with. So when we've got this tendinopathy, which is what it is, so it means the muscle where it connects to the joint goes through into a tendon, which is made up of collagen, it's quite elastic, and it's just probably been overloaded over time. And so we need to reload it in a good way. So the first thing that we're going to do, because that can be quite painful throughout your day, depending on the activities that you're doing, is we're going to do a pain management exercise. So just a quick basics on that. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to do the opposite movement of these are called the wrist extensor muscles that go into that part of the elbow that are involved. So they extend the wrist, which is going this way for the wrist. What happens is, let's say for example, I pick something up. I'm using my biceps like this to bring my hand closer to my shoulder. What happens when I use my biceps is my brain sends a signal to just relax the triceps so that I'm able to move rather than go nowhere if those were already tight. So if you're tight in these wrist extensor muscles, what we're going to do is try to flex the wrist. So we'll use the other hand to prevent the wrist from actually moving. And this is not going to be a very strong exercise, just use 20% of your effort. So what I'm trying to do is go in this direction. This hand is stopping it. You can either use an open hand or you can use a fist. You can grab it like this, whatever is like comfy for you, doesn't really matter. And whatever position that you want to do it in. So I find this position to be most comfortable. What I'm doing is trying to go in this direction and this hand is stopping that. So I'm going to hold that for 5 seconds and I'm going to do that at least 3 times. So after I've held, I'm just going to relax. So it doesn't look like much on the video, but what I'm doing is engaging these muscles, which will send a signal to relax those muscles. So if you find yourself in pain throughout the day, you can do this real quick. Just do 3 to 5 of these 5-second holds, and that should wind down the amount of pain that you're feeling. All right, so the next component is that we have to start to strengthen these muscles again. So what's likely happened is with that tendinopathy, there's been kind of a disruption in those tendons. Some of them have potentially been injured and been replaced with new cells. With tendons, normally the fibers are all aligned in one direction so they can best take the forces along that direction that we need them to. When the new cells get put down by your body, it just kind of gets put down however. And so what we do is with gradual graded exercise, getting harder and harder as you keep going, what that does is stimulate those cells to realign and go in the correct position so that you can take those high loads down the track rather than them just being haphazardly patchworked in, which means not able to take that full load later. So the first exercise that we're going to do is, again, doing that hold, but we're going to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to be going into wrist extension. So you can either do this against a wall or you can use your hand again. So that's what I'm going to do. But this one we're going to hold for a bit longer and we're going to do it a little bit stronger. So just do it as comfy as you can do it. It should be a little bit of effort. It is okay to feel up to a 4 out of 10 pain whilst you do this, and that's okay to feel up to 24 hours. If it's longer than that, then wind down how hard you're pushing on that one. Okay, so we're going to start off doing that. We're going to do this for 30-second holds, and we're going to do that 5 times. Just as an aside, it's probably a good idea to have your shoulders down and back, not be doing it like this. Just, other postural things kind of helps sometimes. So that's your staple exercise. You can do that every day, 5 times, 30-second holds. You can have a 1 to 2 minute rest in between doing those holds. The next exercise that we're going to do is under a bit of load, doing this elbow extension. So first off, what we're going to start with you can use any kind of band, whatever you've got around. You can step on the band and grab it. So I'm just standing on it with my foot. First off, what we can do is having, pop your elbow in there just for a bit more control and a bit more comfort. With our wrists in this position, you're just going to be bringing up that band. So these ones, it should be 6, 7 out of 10 difficulty. So if it's not hard enough, pull that band up, grab it shorter and go again. And we're going to be doing this 15 times 3. So nice and slow. If this is too easy for you, what I want you to do is go the opposite way. So you're going to use the other hand to bring up that wrist into this position here. So it's flexed like this, and then we're going to slowly extend. So from here, we're going to slowly let that go. Now this works really well with a heavy weight, but you can use a band. You might just need to really make that tension super duper high and then slowly extend. So to see which one of those is harder for you and do that exercise, we're going to do that. 3 sets, 15 reps, and you're going to do that once a day. And then we want to do some strength exercise as well for the upper body to help just strengthen that whole area. So 2 main things that the upper body does is we push things and we pull things. So we're going to do that. You can either do that with bands or you can do that with weights. It's whatever you've got. So first off, if you've just got a band, you can do some rows. You can either pop this around a handle and pull them towards you. Again, same principles. If you grab the band closer to the anchor point, then it's going to be harder. If you grab it further away, it's going to be easier, more slack on that band. Or you can just stand on your band if you've got one like this. You can bend at the hips and row from the ground. The next thing that we're going to be doing is pushing. So you can do this in many ways. You can do a push-up or you can use a band. So if you had a door behind you, you could anchor it there and then use that to push the band in that direction. Or you could start off on a wall doing some push-ups. So these ones should be a little bit harder, that kind of like 8 out of 10 strength kind of difficulty. And these ones you're going to do 8 reps and you're going to do 3 sets and you can have up to a 2-minute break in between. So if it's tolerable for your elbow, another thing that we're going to do is this exercise here. So this is another job of those muscles that attach in through here. And we're going to be doing some elastic movements to help with those cells realign in that tendon there. So this is something to do further down the track. If you are in severe pain, this is not an exercise for you, this is down the line. But what you can do is you can use a water bottle or a stick or a rolling pin, something small to start off with, and just see if you can do this motion. Start off slow. If you can do it a little bit faster, that's even better. Might start to feel that get a little bit difficult. So we're going to do this one for, to start off with 30 seconds and do 5 sets of that. If you can, start off with lower, and you're going to do this one every second day as well. If that's too easy for you, or if you've done that for a while and you want to make it harder, just grab it at the end. So again, start a bit slower and see how that feels, and then you can start to increase the speed. And then that one's not enough, you can get yourself a broomstick. So again, just start in the middle, just making sure that that's appropriate for you, and start slow, and then you can increase the speed to see how you can handle that. As that gets easier, grab it further down the stick. Again, start slow. Be mindful of your surroundings so that you're not hitting things in your house, and then just go faster. And then again, as that gets easier, and I might not have the room for this, but you can grab it at the end. So again, and you can go further with your range of motion there as well. That's me hitting the wall. And start slow, and then you can start to go faster. So give those ones a go. There are lots of other exercises that we can do that can incorporate into your exercise rehab program for that tennis elbow. There's also things, depending on how your upper back is moving or not moving, that might need to be addressed as well. It's best to go see a practitioner about that, just to check in where you're at. But these are some focused ones that you can at least start off with. It does take time to build that muscle and get all those fibers realigned so that you can take bigger loads. You do want to progress over time to make things harder and harder, just slowly, so that you can tolerate it. If you're finding that you're over that 4 out of 10 pain whilst you're doing these exercises, dial it back. Just the next day that you do it, halve the amount of exercise that you're doing, whether it's your volume, so like how hard it is, the resistance that you're using, or you can halve the reps that you're doing, or even the sets. So just tweak it in a way that it's not as sore, and then build up again, so that you're going to avoid injuring yourself further by overloading it, which is probably what had happened in the first time. If you have any questions, get in touch.